What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. We're going to have some fun today. I'm going to be showing you our finished kitchen. It was a labor of love. Have you ever done a remodel before? If you have, then you know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of patience. You really have to think it through before you get started. But first, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you're notified of all my video uploads. And if you want to see my kitchen remodel, then just keep watching. There are a few things you want to think about before you start your renovation. At least for us, this is what we did before we got started. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that you know what your budget is and have a little bit of extra spending money in case there are any unexpected expenses or that certain wow thing that you just have to have that you didn't originally plan for. Also, make a list of all of your priorities, all of your needs, and list them in order of importance. Next, you want to make sure and do some research on your design or construction company that you'll be going with. Make sure that you see their previous work, that you talk to some of their previous clients. Ask them questions. Ask them how often they're going to be at your house for the remodel. Will they be there daily? Will they be there the entire time work is being done? Ask them if they have experience in doing the type of work that you want done. Any special features that you plan on using in your updated kitchen? What are the pros and cons? Ask them for their ideas. Sometimes they have great ideas. You want to have a vision. You want to know what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want, because if you don't express that to your designer or your contractor, you may not like the finished product. Once you come up with your design idea that you collaborated with your designer or your contractor, make sure that not only is your contractor or designer there on site when the work is being done, but that you're there too. Make sure you review all the work on a daily basis. If things are not to your liking, make sure you speak up. That's your house and you have to live with it. Make it clear on what the expectations are. If there do need to be changes made, they can happen instantaneously, not after the fact, when it might be a lot more difficult to make those changes. Make sure you have a plan. Once you have your design, once you have your team picked out, once you have all of your needs and wants laid out, make sure that you have a plan. Nail down that plan with your designer. Then you want to make sure that you are getting the material you need. Have your hardware picked out, your material like your countertop, the paint color, fixtures. That all needs to play into your timeline. If the particular fixtures you want or the hardware, tile, anything that is not in stock or is special order, allow for that time. Once the project actually does kick off, make sure that you are sticking to your timeline and that you're doing your part in making sure that all the work that is being done on a daily basis is to your satisfaction, because it's a lot of money and you have to live with the work. Also, make sure you manage your expectations versus your budget. Sometimes you may have a $1 million design, but your budget is not a $1 million budget. Make sure that you are realistic with your expectations and your design ideas, because you want to make sure that you stick within the budget. Try not to cut corners, because then after the work is done, after the project is over, you may not be happy with some of the work. Sometimes it's better just to wait until you save up to have enough money for the design that you want. One thing that we did here in this house that I kind of regret not doing is that I wanted to have a pot filler, but when we talked about the work that was going to go into it, we were going to have to rip out some of the floor, which means that we would have had to redo all of the flooring in the majority of the house. It was just going to be way too expensive. Sometimes you do have to prioritize. Do you want to spend half of your budget doing this one little thing? And make sure that your design is functional and that it works for your lifestyle, for your family's lifestyle. That's really important. For example, with us, we have little kids, so we chose an induction cooktop. It's really safer when you have little kids around found because the cooktop doesn't heat up when you turn it on. It only heats up if there is a specific type of pan that you put on the cooktop. That's really helpful because I don't have to be constantly watching, making sure the kids don't turn on the stove, because I know that it won't heat up unless there is a pan set correctly on the stove. So now let me take you through our design. Let's look at the before pictures. This is what the kitchen breakfast nook looked like. It was a typical design when the house was built. Things have changed a lot in the designs of houses, kitchens. This home, I believe, was built in 1999. The kitchen mirrors the age of the house. Hello, 1990s. These are the most popular kitchen layouts. I think mine is kind of a cross between the L-shaped and the kitchen island. Our kitchen island has the range, but it's also an L shape. You kind of have to go with what works best for your family. You may come across different designs that just don't work for you. Keep that in mind also. One thing that I am so glad we did is that we raised our kitchen cabinets. It's just a huge dust trap when you have that gap between the ceiling and the top of your cabinets. That's something you also want to think about, is how much storage space do you need? Do you want to raise the cabinets up to the ceiling so that you don't have dust bunnies, wasted space really? So the first thing that we did here, once we had our design, once we knew what we wanted, we ripped out the kitchen island. We were without a kitchen island for quite a while. We also marked the floor where we wanted the new island to be, how big we wanted it. And also we wanted to make sure that we wouldn't need extra floor panels with the new design of the kitchen island, right?
Floor panels?
The floorboards, right? One thing you do have to be ready for is all the dust. There's gonna be dust everywhere. I kind of wish we had done the remodel before we had furniture in here, because the chairs, the couches, everything was so dusty. It was like covered in powder, and that's one thing that you do have to keep in mind, is that it's going to be very, very dirty. The other thing that causes a lot of dust and debris is when they rip out tile. So when they were taking out all of the backsplash, it was really messy. Once the kitchen island was ripped out, we had the new kitchen island installed. It was placed exactly where we wanted it. We checked the cabinets, make sure they were all soft close, which we had asked for specifically. Instead of putting all new cabinets, we changed the cabinet doors to match the kitchen island. That really saved us some money because we didn't have to redo all the cabinets. So that would have been really expensive, especially I think when we did the remodel. It was around the time that there was a lumber shortage and everything was really expensive. So once we had the island installed, once we had the wooden tops on the counters, wait, what is it called? The plywood. Once we had the plywood on the countertops and we had everything patched up, we were able to have our quartz installed. Also with the quartz, we did ask for specifics as far as the design of the quartz. We wanted it to look like, we wanted it to have a thicker edge, and also we wanted both sides of the island to go down all the way to the floor, which is called a waterfall. That also took a little bit longer, but it was worth it. So here they are installing the top cabinets that we added all the way to the ceiling. Next, we painted, and that was messy because the paint that was used was the spray, right? That's what it's called? What? It's spray paint. It's not actually spray paint. What is it called?
There was applied with a...
They painted the cabinets with airless sprayer. The paint, literally, it left a thick blanket of powder everywhere. Next, we did the lighting. I really like the light fixtures we picked out. This actually wasn't the first choice. We actually got light fixtures in. We right away were like, oh, this is not what we expected. So we sent that back and we got another light fixture. We were able to find two light fixtures that went well together. They were kind of the same family. We are really happy with them. It did take a little bit of back and forth with the electrician to make sure that the light fixture was placed the way we wanted it. So we had to kind of show him pictures and keep adjusting until it was to our liking. I had to throw in a picture of the fridge because my daughter and I worked really, really hard on a kitchen organization video that ended up not working. Like all of the footage was just lost. So I did want to show you our proud moment of the organized fridge. So the next thing that we did is we picked out the hardware. We actually had it in for quite a while before we actually had it installed. We were back and forth on the type of hardware we wanted, so we went with the chrome. Before we even decided how we wanted the hardware to look, I was watching a show on Netflix. You might have seen it. It's called Made. I noticed the cabinet hardware. It looked different. It was sideways. I took a picture of it. I told my husband. So when they were installing the handle, he showed the cabinet guys the Netflix picture, and they were able to put the kitchen pools the same way. So as you can see, it made a huge difference. The kitchen really transforms the look of the house. It makes it look updated, and we spend so much time in the kitchen that you want to make sure that it is functional, that it is what you want. I don't have my pot filler, but I'm very happy with everything else. Let me know what you think of our finished product. I'm not gonna show you the bar in the corner because that's still being worked on, but let me know what you think of the rest of the kitchen. Have you ever done a kitchen remodel? What were some of the lessons learned when you had your kitchen remodeled? I'd love to know. So it is always nice to get ideas from social media, from friends, from family, from Pinterest, but at the end of the day, make sure it's the design that you love. Sometimes when you go too trendy or you're not exactly in love with the design you chose, you probably won't be happy with the end result. So make sure you're happy with it. I hope you liked this video, this kitchen remodel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you're notified of all my video uploads. And we'll see you next time. Bye!
If you don't subscribe and put you in the face.